There's a place you want to visit, sites you'd like to see. Well, why wait for someone to tag along? You can do this on your own. Really, you can. And Beth Binger of Mechanicsburg knows this. She's here with There's Wonder Around the Bend, an inspiring guide to solo road tripping. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's great to see you and talk with you here. I'm sure you're asked this a lot, but why go solo? How did this begin for you?
Well, it actually began out of, I think, what a lot of people go through sort of in the middle of their life, sometimes sort of a time you don't expect. And
right.
So I sort of found myself floundering and trying to figure out what was next in my life. And my gut instinct was to hit the road. So I did without really much of a plan, and spent 2 weeks just meandering back roads by myself and really kind of what I would call now reclaiming the wonder that you have as a child. All those feelings of like awe and joy that I feel like I'd really lost in my life. And so I was really inspired by that.
Well, and you know, as we said, you went alone. Last summer you road trip to the Rockies. You were at the Tetons, and in a vlog you noted that this is a spot that really inspired you. And as you said, kind of going back as a child, but now you went as an adult. So talk about the connectedness of all of that. Yeah,
and I have a deep affinity for the West specifically. And it goes back to being my I grew up without, we didn't do a lot of traveling outside of, Pennsylvania. But my parents took my sister and I on a road trip to the Tetons when I was 12. And I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. And I just had a moment of shock and awe, literally, of the first time I saw the Tetons, and I'll never forget it. And so going back, and I've been back several times, but this time there's a specific view that when I literally come around the bend, it's just there, and it just reduces me to a puddle every single time. So it's just an amazing thing.
It speaks to you. So you went from being a solo road tripper and then writing a book about it. How did the book come about?
Well, initially I started a blog about 7 years ago when I started this, partly from a place of family and friends thinking I was a little nutty for doing this, and it was a way to keep up with them without having to check in with them all the time.
Right.
So I was just writing about my adventures, and then just the blog grew. There was a lot of feedback, and I've always been a writer of sorts, and so I decided to put it into word form because people were asking me so many questions all the time about, I love this idea, I'm afraid, is it safe, how do I do it? And so then it just sort of evolved into a book from there.
Well, and speaking of that, now you say it's not just a how to do it guide, it's not just a how to, it's much more than that. So what's inside, what can we expect?
So when I started writing it and outlining it, I really did think it was going to be a how-to guide. But the more I got into it, the more I realized that for me, it was much more than just, buying your goodies, packing the car, navigating, that it was much more internal, and that it was much more about seeking wonder. And as a Christian, I do write it from that perspective to some extent, and it's the idea of just seeking wonder and realizing that there is just something so much greater than us, and it's been created for us to enjoy. And so I love, meeting new people, but also seeking just literally wonder around every bend.
I was going to say there's almost a spirituality to this, and
Absolutely.
it's really, you can discover that in your book. And right now you have 2 offers to pass along.
I do.
Yeah.
So the first one is right now the book is available on Amazon and any place else that you can get your books, Barnes & Noble.
Sure.
But for right now, for the next week, you can get the Kindle version for 99 cents.
Oh, that's great.
So it starts today for the next week, so people can get on and do that. And then also for people who are just interested in learning more about the idea of road tripping, and maybe they're not quite ready for the book, you can go to my website, wonderbingtravel.com/going solo, and download a really cool guide that they can do on their phone that just helps them get started and figure out. And I put my journal in there. It really helps people explore internally and externally if they're ready to maybe give something like this a try.
Well, that's awesome, Beth. Thanks for sharing. We're out of time, but real fast, when's your next trip?
Well, I'm going to Arizona in a couple days, so that's not a road trip. So this summer I'll be headed back out west.
Well, safe travels and good luck documenting it all.
Thank you so
and you'll have to
much.
come back when your next book comes out.
I would love it.